My phone buzzed, lighting up my darkened bedroom at exactly 2:45 a.m. Groggy. I reached over, squinting as the bright screen stabbed at my eyes. The notification read, "New video message from Jason." Odd. My brother never sent videos. Especially not at this hour. Curious, I swiped open the message, my eyes barely adjusted enough to focus clearly. The video buffered briefly, then sprang to life, shaking slightly as if filmed hastily. Familiar voices filled my room, pulling me sharply awake. Seriously, she's never going anywhere in life. My mother's unmistakable voice cut through the quiet like a knife, slicing right into my chest. Honestly, she's nothing but a worthless burden. A coldness seeped through me, freezing me to my core as I sat upright in bed, unable to breathe. My father's gravelly voice responded immediately. She should just be grateful we haven't thrown her out yet. What has she ever done for this family? I felt numbness spreading across my fingertips, gripping the phone tightly, my heart pounding painfully in my chest.
How could they say these things about me?
A burning lump rose in my throat, choking me from the inside out. Then Jason's voice echoed, hesitant, defensive. "Guys, come on, she helps a bit, doesn't she?" Mother scoffed loudly, dismissively. "Helps? You mean her few miserable dollars here and there? She's practically living off us. She should pay rent, be grateful we even tolerate her presence." My vision blurred with unshed tears as I absorbed their words. Jason's quiet voice again. "She tries, Mom. Maybe she struggles, but..." Father's voice snapped harshly. "Stop defending her. She's useless, and we all know it. A charity case in her own family." The video ended abruptly, the screen going dark as silence enveloped my room once more, heavier than before. I stared into the emptiness, their words echoing cruelly. Worthless. Burden. Charity case. For years I'd quietly paid their mortgage, their electric bills, their car payments, all anonymously, to protect their pride. I'd given up vacations, skipped meals, all while they thought I was barely scraping by. I closed my eyes tightly, tears slipping silently down my cheeks. The betrayal felt unbearably heavy, but in that moment, clarity surged through me. My kindness had been mistaken for weakness. I had to stop living this lie. Gently, I wiped away the tears, straightened my spine, and set the phone aside. A calm resolve settled over me, sharp as glass, but controlled. My revenge wouldn't be cruel. It would simply be the truth. Quiet, calm, and utterly unmistakable. I would wait until the next payment was due. Until then, I'd smile like nothing had changed. Because after all, I'd learned long ago how to keep secrets. And the biggest secret of all was about to be revealed. The following days passed like a surreal blur. I went about my routines with a practiced ease, smiling gently whenever my family spoke to me, careful not to betray even a flicker of the pain that had become my constant shadow. I was adept at pretending everything was fine, though beneath my calm exterior, a quiet storm raged, fueled by hurt and disbelief. "Hey, sis, everything good?" Jason asked casually one morning at breakfast, sliding into the chair across from me. His dark eyes studied me closely, searching my face for any clue that might hint I'd received his accidental message. "Never better," I replied lightly, spreading cream cheese onto my bagel. My hand trembled slightly, betraying a trace of vulnerability. Quickly, I steadied it, forcing a brighter smile. "Just another busy day at work." He hesitated, his brow furrowing briefly, guilt flickering in his eyes before he quickly masked it.
"Yeah, sure."
"Well, if you need to talk or anything." My father entered the kitchen abruptly, cutting off Jason's cautious offer. "You two still hanging around here? Don't you have jobs to get to?" His voice was gruff, dismissive as always, eyes sliding over me as if I were invisible. "Just leaving," I said cheerfully, standing and grabbing my keys. I caught Jason's gaze for a split second. His eyes were dark with unspoken apologies, but I offered him another gentle smile and left quickly, shutting the door softly behind me. Outside, my facade crumbled slightly, and I leaned against my car, taking a shaky breath. The pain was sharper today, as if their words had left invisible bruises beneath my skin. But mixed with the hurt was a quiet resolve that grew stronger by the hour. I had given generously, silently paying the price for their comforts, without ever asking for recognition, gratitude, or praise. Yet now, I realized I had lost myself in trying to please people who saw me as worthless. The knowledge stung deeply. Later that day at work, I sat quietly at my desk, the screen before me blurred by thoughts of my family's betrayal. My coworker, Ava, leaned over the partition, her keen eyes noticing my distracted state immediately. "You all right?" she asked softly, concern coloring her usually bright voice. I forced a practiced smile. "Yeah, just a rough morning." She tilted her head slightly, unconvinced. "Look, I won't pry, but whatever it is, just know I'm here." Her kindness hit me unexpectedly, the contrast so stark it brought tears dangerously close to spilling over. I quickly blinked them back, managing a shaky laugh. "Thanks, Ava. Really?" At that moment, my phone buzzed gently. A text notification from my bank. Another reminder of my quiet, unappreciated generosity. Scheduled payment reminder. Mortgage. $1,600 due tomorrow. I stared at the words numbly. For years, I'd paid without question, without hesitation. My parents had grown accustomed to the mysterious, anonymous benefactor, never once suspecting it was their worthless daughter. But now, things would change. As evening fell, I sat alone in my car outside my childhood home, looking through the softly glowing windows. Shadows moved within, my family unaware of the impending reality that would soon reshape their lives. I wasn't cruel. I wouldn't leave them in ruins, but the illusion had to end. I dialed the mortgage company, my voice calm and measured, as I requested a change. "Yes, this is regarding tomorrow's payment. I'd like to discontinue future payments. Please send all notices directly to the homeowners." "Yes, effective immediately." "Thank you." Ending the call, I sat in silence, my heart pounding painfully in my chest. Tomorrow would mark a new chapter, one where I'd reclaim my dignity, my worth. It was terrifying yet exhilarating. Suddenly, a gentle tap startled me, making me jump. Jason stood beside my car, his expression heavy with regret. I rolled down the window cautiously. "I'm sorry," he said quietly, sincerity evident in his gentle voice. "I never meant for you to hear those things." "I know," I whispered softly, meeting his troubled gaze. "But I'm glad I did." He frowned, confused. "Why?" "Because I needed to hear the truth," I replied simply, sadness tinged with determination. "It hurts, but now I know exactly who I am and who I need to be." He reached through the window and gently squeezed my shoulder. "You deserve better." "Thank you," I murmured softly, genuinely touched by his kindness. Maybe someday they'll understand that too. As he walked away, leaving me alone in the darkness, a bittersweet sense of calm filled me. Tomorrow, reality would knock on their door, not harshly, but unmistakably clear. Tomorrow would be the start of reclaiming myself. It wouldn't be revenge. It would be justice. My phone buzzed again, another text. Mortgage autopay canceled. Smiling faintly, I started the car, driving into the night, toward a future where my worth would never again be questioned. Morning came quicker than I anticipated, and with it, a surreal sense of calm. Today was different. The sun seemed brighter, the air lighter, my step easier. It was as if shedding the secret burden I'd carried for years had awakened something within me, strength, quiet but profound. My phone buzzed with texts from my mother and father almost simultaneously. We received a strange notice from the mortgage company. "Call ASAP." I stared at the screen, feeling nothing but quiet clarity. No anxiety, no guilt, just a determined acceptance of the reality I'd helped shape. I took a steadying breath and dialed home. My mother answered immediately, her voice edged with barely concealed panic. "What's going on?" "They're saying the mortgage hasn't been paid." I kept my voice gentle, calm as the surface of a still lake. "Oh, did something happen?" My mother hesitated, flustered. Someone has always paid it anonymously, but apparently they stopped. Do you know anything about this? A deep breath steadied me before I replied softly, Actually, yes, Mom. I was the one paying. Silence filled the line, stretching unbearably. When she finally spoke again, disbelief colored her tone. You? Don't be ridiculous. It's true, I insisted quietly.
For years now.
My father's voice barked suddenly from the background. Put her on speaker. What's this nonsense? A moment later, his voice boomed clearly through the line, demanding and irritated. Explain yourself. There's nothing complicated about it, I replied softly, gently. I've been paying your mortgage, electricity, car payments, everything. Quietly. His mocking laugh stung, sharp as ice. You? With your pathetic little job? My heart sank briefly, hearing again the contempt that had shadowed my entire life. But my resolve didn't waver. My pathetic little job has quietly carried you for years, Dad. But last week, I found out how you really feel about me. My mother's voice softened slightly, uncertain, guilt finally creeping in. What do you mean? I took a breath, my throat tight. Jason accidentally sent me a video of you calling me worthless. A burden. A charity case. A stunned silence filled the room on their end, followed by the sound of my mother's shaky breathing. Look, we were upset. We didn't mean, she stumbled, clearly flustered, shocked that her secret words had been revealed. My father cut her off sharply. Even if you did pay a few bills, you had no right to hold it over our heads. Is this your way of making us feel guilty? No, I replied softly, my voice gentle but firm. It's my way of finally respecting myself. Another tense pause filled the air, broken only by Jason's quiet voice. I try to tell you guys, she deserves better. Quiet, Jason, my father snapped harshly, but Jason continued, courageously standing his ground.
No, Dad.
She's given everything for us. She deserves more than insults and dismissal. She deserves respect. My heart swelled with gratitude, tears suddenly filling my eyes. Jason's quiet bravery touched me deeply, proving kindness still had a place amidst all the pain. My father remained stubbornly silent. My mother finally spoke again, quieter now, voice trembling slightly. What happens now? I took another steadying breath, finding strength in honesty. I'm not abandoning you, but I can't be your invisible support anymore. You'll need to start managing without me covering everything silently. Maybe then you'll understand what kindness really is. Wait, my mother began desperately, her voice strained, but I gently cut her off. I love you all, even after everything, but I need to finally take care of myself, I said softly, my voice breaking just slightly with emotion. And maybe one day, you'll truly see me. I ended the call carefully, gently laying the phone on the desk in front of me. The weight lifted from my chest was incredible. I felt lighter, freer, finally allowed to exist on my own terms. Ava gently approached my desk, her expression a mix of compassion and curiosity. Everything okay? For the first time, I answered truthfully. Actually, yes. It will be. She smiled knowingly, squeezing my shoulder softly. Good for you. I returned her smile, genuinely warmed by her kindness, grateful beyond words. That evening, Jason came by my apartment unexpectedly, knocking softly at the door. When I opened it, his face showed deep remorse and vulnerability. I just had to say this in person, he began softly, his voice thick with emotion. I'm sorry for not standing up for you sooner. My eyes filled with gentle tears, moved by his sincerity. It's okay. You did when it mattered most. He nodded, swallowing hard, tears glittering in his eyes. They'll understand someday, I hope. I reached out, gently squeezing his hand. I think they will. Until then, I'll just be me and finally enough. Jason smiled warmly, squeezing my hand back. You've always been enough. As he left, I stood at the doorway, feeling the cool evening air brush my face, a new chapter of life unfolding before me. I realized revenge had never truly mattered, only clarity, dignity, and gentle strength had. I'd set boundaries not out of cruelty, but out of self-love. And perhaps in time, my family might see the same worth in me that Jason always had. The phone buzzed quietly again, this time from my mother. Her text was short, emotional, sincere. "We were wrong.
I'm sorry.
Maybe someday we'll earn your forgiveness." Tears spilled gently down my cheeks, but for the first time in forever, they felt freeing, healing. "I already forgive you," I whispered softly into the night. "But now, I need to forgive myself." Days slipped by with newfound peace settling gently into my life. Each morning felt brighter, easier. I'd begun living openly, honestly, no longer hidden behind the shadow of unappreciated generosity. One evening, my mother knocked softly on my apartment door. Hesitantly, I opened it to find her standing there, looking smaller and more vulnerable than I'd ever seen her. "Can we talk?" she asked quietly, eyes filled with remorse. I stepped aside, gently letting her in. Sitting across from me, she sighed heavily. "I should have seen you," she admitted, her voice trembling. "I was blind to your kindness, and I'm deeply sorry." Her genuine vulnerability melted the lingering pain in my heart. "I appreciate that, Mom. Honestly, I just needed you to know the truth." She nodded slowly, her eyes moist. "We've always expected too much and given too little. I never realized how unfair we'd been." A gentle silence settled between us, finally peaceful rather than tense. "I never wanted to hurt you," I said softly. "I just needed you to see me." She reached out, gently taking my hand. "I do now, clearly. Forgive us." I squeezed her hand softly, my heart lighter than it had been in years. "I already have." Over the next few weeks, our family dynamic gradually transformed. The harshness softened, replaced by cautious kindness and mutual respect. Even my father, initially resistant, began showing subtle changes, a quiet nod, a soft thank you. Small gestures that spoke loudly. One afternoon, Jason stopped by, smiling warmly. "Guess what? Dad's even been bragging about you lately." I laughed softly, amazed. "Really?" He nodded, smiling proudly. "Says you're stronger than he ever realized." Warmth filled my chest. Well, it's progress. Jason hugged me gently. "You've taught us all something important." I smiled, feeling genuinely healed. "And what's that?" He grinned sincerely. "Real strength comes from kindness, even when it's tough." For the first time in forever, I felt fully seen, fully valued, not for what I gave, but simply for who I was. Months later, I stood smiling in my parents' backyard, sunlight filtering through the branches above. Our relationship had transformed, no longer strained by hidden resentments or unspoken hurts. Today, we celebrated something meaningful, Jason's engagement. My father gently approached, his face softer, eyes sincere. "Thank you for coming," he said quietly. "It means a lot." I smiled warmly. "I'm glad we're here." He paused, emotion coloring his voice. "I never said this clearly enough. I'm proud of you. You showed more courage and kindness than I ever did." The words warmed me deeply.
Thank you, Dad.
"That means everything." My mother joined, placing a gentle hand on my shoulder. "You've taught us how to be better, how to truly love." I looked at them both, deeply grateful. The pain that once defined our family had given way to genuine understanding and mutual respect. Jason came up grinning broadly. "Hey, sis, I owe you big time. You saved our family." I laughed softly. We all saved it together. As we stood there, joy and laughter surrounding us, I realized kindness wasn't weakness. It was quiet strength, powerful enough to heal even the deepest wounds. And finally, I knew I was more than enough, exactly as I'd always been.